Good morning, students. Is the problem resolved now? Some of you are facing some technical issue to join the class. Have you all joined in the class? 48, 50. Okay, now your friends might be joining the class. Whoever have faced the problem. Salim Pasha. Mr. Salim Pasha, turn on your video. Mr. Salim Pasha, turn on your video. Register with your roll number. When you are registering to the meeting, you have to register with your roll number as your first name, Mr. Salim Pasha. Vandana, G Vandana also. Both of you are joining with your name. If you join like that, I cannot provide you the attendance. Gajula Vandana, Salim Pasha Sheikh. People are joining the class with your name. Instead of that, register with your hall ticket number or roll number. Vandana, turn on your video. All of you turn on your videos. Salim Pasha. If you register to the class with your roll number, then only attendance can be provided to you. If you register with your name, it will not be provided. Please make it a note. Still very less strength is attending the class. Yes, Mr. Salim Pasha, you can unmute yourself and talk to me. Salim Pasha. You have to register with your roll number, not your name. Mr. Salim Pasha. You rose your hand. For what? You can talk to me. Already we have spent 12 minutes of time. Wait anymore. 66 members are present. Very less strength today. What about the other class? OC class? Is the strength same? Anyone please respond in the chat box. 4G7, 4F3. Hello. Naidruva. Mr. Naidruva, have you shared the textbooks with your other classmates and question bank? Okay. Very good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the GPS class. So before I proceed to the today's class, apologies to the previous class because of the internet issue. It has suddenly stopped and many of you have left and very few have rejoined the class after my instructions. So don't do that. If at all any technical issue comes, please rejoin the class. How very clearly mentioned in your class groups to rejoin the class. In spite of this, many of you have not attended for the last 15 minutes. I don't know what their problem is. Okay, anyways, question bank is already shared with you. Exam will be in the online pattern using the VM Module Lab software. I hope you already practiced in the previous semester. And some more questions are added to the question bank because all the above type or none of the above type answers are not, not permitted in the objective exam. The software is designed such that you have to provide single answer. 2 answers, 3 answers, or all the above answers are not permitted. So that I have added some more questions to the question bank, especially objective to the unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, or very few I added. And I will reshare that question bank to you. Accordingly, you please prepare. Is that okay? Say yes or no, guys. Say something. Hello. Exam is only objective type using the software, VMWLab software, already told. Is that clear? So ask any subject note. Say these are already I cleared. Right. Now let us go ahead to complete the rest of the topics of unit 3. So here we go. Somebody asked a question. I just replied. As many of you are absent in the previous class, that is the Friday's class, let me revise that class and proceed further to the new topic. So what we have been talking is about the GPS receivers. The unit 3 is all about the GPS receivers, GPS receiver design. What are the various blocks of GPS receivers? And what are the different types of antenna that are to be used to shoot the applications of the GPS. And the second half of the unit 3 is about the errors in the GPS. That is, GPS errors is the next topic. So that there are many errors like ionospheric delay errors, tropospheric delay errors, errors due to the clock correction, and errors due to the multipath propagation, how to measure the errors and how to correct the errors, how to take them into the consideration. That is the second half of the unit. So this is the block diagram of the GPS receiver in general. It is general receiver. Most of the GPS receivers will have these parts, but the GPS receivers are specific. Depending on the application, a few parts may be vary. So first part is the radio frequency stage, in which the receiving antenna receives the GPS signal, and then it filters to the bandpass filter, and then pre-amplification, because the signal has traveled over a long distance and it has to be amplified. So that is pre-amplification is done before it will be mixed in the mixer stage. So mixing is nothing but mixing of the two frequencies. One is with the RF frequency and another is with the local oscillator frequency. The local oscillator frequency will be generated by a reference oscillator and frequency synthesis. Then these two are multiplied and given to you again a band pass filter, again amplified. This is called as the first IF stage. So IF means intermediate frequency. The radio frequency is a very high value. This is to be down converted. The frequency has to be down converted. For that purpose, we are mixing it. So mixing is done in the two stages. So first stage is first IF stage and second stage is the second IF stage. After the amplified version of the first mixer, it is again down converted using the another mixer or second mixer. And finally, this signal will be in the form of analog form. But the original signal should be converted into the digital form, because the digitized version is used at the modulation purpose. And there I said very clearly, the BPSK is a modulation technique that is used. And using a proper A to D converter, the signal from analog is converted into the digital in nature. Then the post processing is done, like code acquisition, tracking, carrier acquisition and tracking, and synchronization, navigation message, demodulation, a code pseudo ranging, a carrier pseudo ranging, and a delta range measurements. After all this, navigation processing is done, that is using the Kalman filter, which is out of the syllabus. Okay. But Kalman filtering, you just remember the word Kalman filtering. Kalman is a mathematician name. He has given a very good filtering technique to obtain the navigation message by the process of navigation. So it is called as a navigation processing. There it will take some of the external inputs like inertial navigation system from altimeter, LoRaWAN and clock heading. These are the external inputs. So using this and using the navigation process in the Kalman filtering, the navigation outputs will be produced like position, velocity, time, fault, and this will be detected and isolated. The user will be detected and it will be isolated. So this is about the functioning of the general or a typical GPS receiver. So these are the stages of radio frequency range, frequency down conversion, the IF stage, how much SNR we have to consider, and what is the digitization process, what is the band pass baseband signal processing, what is carrier tracking, code tracking, and the signal spectral despreading. Of course, about the signal spectral despreading, we have already learned. So spreading, after the demodulation, the signal will be spread, the power spectrum will be despread, whose properties are such that the noise is more than this. Then we have to increase the signal strength to maintain an appropriate SNR, so that we will despread. Spreading is like this and despreading is like this. And we will use a narrow band filter for the filtering purpose. By using a appropriate narrow band filter, we can filter out the signal. So this is all about these things, frequency down conversion and all these things. How to estimate the signal to noise ratio. This all we completed already. Just to give you an idea, I have revised this. And more important is the receiver design choices. Receiver design choices. How many types of receivers are there? How many types of receivers are there? And what type of the modulation or demodulation techniques are used here? So receivers with the channel time sharing. So here, what are the steps that are employed in the GPS receivers? First is select the pseudo noise code that corresponds to the satellite observed. First, we have to observe a satellite, and a pseudo noise code is already present in the receiver, which is corresponding to a GPS receiver. Once the GPS latitudes and longitudes and with an identification is received, that particular code is to be selected. After selecting the code, we have to compute the current state of the code at the start of the dwell based on the state at the end of the last dwell. So previous dwell and what is the present dwell. The signal Doppler and also the eclipse time, that is since the last dwell. From the last elapsed time till the present elapsed time, that is the dwell time, how much time has been spent. Then load the code state into the code generator hardware. So there is a separate code generator hardware to select the CYA code or to select the P code. Then compute the initial Doppler frequency of the PLL or FLL, phase locked loop or frequency locked loop. This is the technique used for the demodulation purpose at the receiver end. Then load the Doppler frequency into the PLL and FLL hardware. Then initiate the reacquisition process by turning on the code tracking and carrier tracking loops. So we have to reacquire. We have to reacquire the signal. So that is by code acquisition, code tracking, and carrier tracking loops. Carrier will be eliminated and code will be accepted. Then seventh step is determine when the reacquisition has occurred, because time is very, very important. In our GPS navigation process, the time of travel is very, very important. So when we have received or tracked the code, that is also important. Depending on that, we can calculate the time. Then by using the pseudo range carrier phase and carrier phase rate will be measured during the remainder of the channel. So for this purpose, single channel receivers, 2 to 5 channel receivers, and more than 5 channel or all in one channels will be received. Receivers with 3 to 5 channels and multi-channel all in receivers. Why a 2 channel receivers or single channel receivers are used in the beginning means hardware and complexity. Hardware and complexity is to be minimized. For that purpose, we have been using that. And there is no implementation of the code division multiplexing techniques. After the introduction of the CDM technique, without any noise interference and with a less hardware, the multi-channel receivers can be used. And more important here is the how to select the code, whether to select the C by A code or to select the P code. And here, till now in our subject, what we have learned is we have been using the two codes. One is C by A code and the P code. And surprisingly here, some of the receivers will not use any code at all. And those receivers are called as the codeless receivers. Remember, this is very, very important. Of course, about the C by A code, we know 1.03 megahertz chipping rate in 1 millisecond period. So it is generated by a small shift registers with 1023 chips per period. And P code is 10.23 megahertz. And a chipping rate, it has a period of long duration, that is 1 week. And it is used for both civilian and military users because the P code is having an encrypted version. That is generated by multiplying the P code with a W code. This is very, very important. And but W code has a slower chipping rate. So that there are precisely 20 P code chips per every W code chip. So advantages: improved navigation accuracy. Of course, navigation accuracy is improved, and improved jamming immunity. So it is not prone to the jamming, and better multipath rejection. These are the erroneous things. Then surprisingly here, codeless techniques. So here we need not to adapt any code, either the C by A code or the P code. This is mostly used by the commercial receivers. Because the commercial receivers can recover the L2 carrier without the knowledge of any code modulation. How it can be achieved? That is simply by squaring the received signal. We will apply a squaring technique. I think you might have studied somewhere else in your ADC subject. Squaring is also one of the demodulation technique. So by squaring, what is done is the SNR will be improved. Noise power can be increased. So the squared signal has extremely small bandwidth. Of course, bandwidth will decrease so that narrowband filtering can make the difference. And most importantly is the antenna design. How to choose an antenna? What type of antenna are to be used? What type of antenna are to be used for the GPS receivers, which suits a particular application? So is this topic covered yesterday in the previous class? Antenna design. Please respond, guys. Hello. Those who are present on Friday to my class can respond now. Did I complete this topic? Okay. Anyways, we'll see it in detail. Of course, there are many varieties of antenna. Most of them are right-hand circularly polarized. Why? Because to match the incoming signal and the spatial reception pattern is nominally a hemispherical. It's like this, helical in shape. I hope you know very well what is the helical or hemispherical radiation pattern. And these patterns will permit the reception of the satellites in any azimuthal direction from zenith down to the horizon. So horizon and zenith you know very well than me. And the wavelengths of the L1 and L2 frequencies are less so that they will permit the compact designs. But in low-pass handheld receivers, the antenna is often integrated with the receiver electronics in a rugged case. That is called as a patch antenna. But in more sophisticated applications, it is often desirable that the antenna must be separate from the receiver in order to cite the more advantageous features. So here, three things we have studied. One is compact design of the antenna. Second is antenna is attached within the receiver itself. And third is it should be separate. There are three things. So these are the 5 types of antennas that are used most frequently. First one is a patch antenna. So these are the most common type and these are used in the low cost handheld receivers. So these applicate antenna types and what type of receivers are using them. This is very, very important. So first is the patch antenna. These are used by the low cost handheld receivers. And these are formed by etching the copper foil, by etching the process of copper foil on a PCB, which forms a very rugged low profile unit. These are used in the low cost receivers. And these are used in the aviation applications, military aeroplanes or jet rocket jets. These will use the patch antennas because attaching them to the wings or something will be very, very easier task. They can be integrated very easily on the skin of the aircraft. Second type is the dome antennas. It will be like a dome shape. And these antennas are housed in a bubble-like housing, a separate housing. And third category is the blade antennas. These are also used in the aviation applications and it resembles a small airfoil that is protruding from its base. And the fourth one is the helical antennas. Helical antennas contain elements that spiral along an axis that typically points towards the zenith. So you can see the images here. All of you please draw these diagrams. So this is a dome type antenna. This is a null steering antenna. This is a patch antenna. This patch is almost, it is attached to the receiver. And this is volute or spherical antenna. And this is a blade type antenna. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of GPS antennae are present here. Please draw the diagrams. So these are single antennas. In addition to them, we will use some of the phased array antennas also. So have you drawn this? Say yes or no in the chat box. If yes, I'll proceed. Okay, right. So after this, we are going for the choke ring designs. So these are used in the precision applications where more precisely the navigation process is to be utilized. And next one is the phased array antennas. This is very, very important. These are especially used in the military applications. So phased array means there will be a shape like this, and there will be an array like this, and there will be radiation patterns like a array form. And the gain that is provided in a particular beam may be very highly required, and the gain that may be provided in another radiation pattern may be very, very less or 0 terms. Why we have to provide 0 gain is, in that direction, maybe some spoofing receiving signal may be expected. So spoofing means some intentionally or unintentionally, some other enemies or some unknowingly, unintentionally, some of the signals may be received which are looking like a GPS receiver. Then receiving them, processing them, it is a waste of energy. So that they have to be rejected at the receiver itself. So for that purpose, especially these phased array antennas are used. The phased array antennas are used in the military applications to receive the desired signals with a high gain and to reject the unwanted signals with a null gain. This is for the intentional, to avoid the intentional jamming. To avoid the intentional jamming of the signals. So this point is very, very important. This method. So most of the GPS receivers are circularly polarized. So with this, the antennas is completed. Then we have to study the GPS errors. Let's talk about the stop it. Let me open it separately. This will be errors. Yeah. So this slide is consisting of, it's a revision of the entire things. So as we know, there are three segments: control segment, user segment, and space segment, and how each one of them are connected. So some of the applications, surveying, mapping, military applications, and navigation purposes. So trilateration techniques, we already know this. So to measure the distance, speed into time of travel. So pseudo randomized codes to get the accuracy and precision. Now sources of errors. So I think some of the errors I already named. Now we'll study in detail about each one of the error, what is the kind of error and what is the error that it produces and how much error it produces. Error means somewhere we are going to locate, here maybe the user, intended user or the object. But actually it may be far apart, or it may be vertical direction error, there may be a horizontal direction error. So how much error comes due to a kind of error, due to a particular error. So first one is the selective availability. The error name is selective availability. Please make a note of these things in your notebook, all of you. So first error is the selective availability error. So what it is the intentional degradation of the GPS accuracy. Intentionally some NP will degrade our accuracy. So this is around 100 meters in the horizontal direction and about 160 meters in the vertical direction. It cannot go beyond that, even the intentional geometry. So this is the most sort of error in the GPS errors. But it is turned off in the year 2000. So this is used by the first time by the US military. This is used by the US military. So they will intentionally introduce some error in the others receivers because they don't want to provide the services to the others more accurately. But this is withdrawn in the year 2000. So second one is the dilution of pressure error. That is geometric dilution of the pressure. So what it describes? It describes the sensitivity of the receiver to the changes in the geometric positioning of the space vehicles or satellites. Space vehicle is nothing but the satellite in the constellation. So this is a poor geometric DOP and this is a good geometric DOP. See the poor GDOP, you can observe geometric DOP. The four satellites are seem to be in the same angle of elevation, in the same line of sight. But actually they are not. In between 1 and 2, let us say 1, 2, 3, 4. From left hand side I am counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Between 1 and 2 here seems to be a very small distance between them. But in reality there is much distance. Between 3 and 4 there is small distance. But in reality there is much distance. So this is poor GDOP and this is a good GDOP. So for this purpose, we will use a performance metric of DOP, dilution of the precision. And this will be tracked or measured in the GPS receiver. And how do we estimate that? Depending on the value of the DOP. If the value of DOP is from 1 to 3, that is a very good DOP. If it is from 4 to 5, it is good. If it is 6, it is fair, okay, acceptable. If it is more than 6 means we have to suspect the navigation process. Suspect the navigation process. So another first source is selective availability. Second source is the geometric dilution of the precision. So this DOP is measured by a numerical quantity. If its value is 1, 2, 3, it is very good. 4 to 5, good. 6 means fair. If it is more than 6 means we have to suspect the value. Then most important one is the clock error. So what do you mean by clock error? So it is the difference between the satellite clock and the receiver clock. Satellite will use one type of clock and receiver will use the another type of clock. That is the UTC, universal coordinated time. And next one is the ionospheric delays. See, ionosphere itself is consisting of so many ionized electrons. When the GPS signal is traveling through the ionosphere, there may be delay occurs. So delay of the GPS signals a layer of the charged ions and free electrons, that is known as the ionosphere. Due to this, there may be a delay occur, and that delay is called as the ionospheric delay. And next one is the multipath error. So here you can see in the diagram very clearly, the satellite has sent a signal. The satellite has sent a signal, and here is a hard surface, and somewhere around backside of this is the receiver, GPS receiver, let us say. That means intended user, which is consisting of a GPS receiver. And because of some of the tall building, the signal will be getting reflected back. The signal will be getting reflected back, and that will be reset. So because of this tall buildings or some of the hard surfaces like hills, the signal will get reflected and it will take multiple paths. Time of travel will increase in this case erroneously, but it is not the actual time. If time is calculated erroneous, obviously the position also will be calculated very erroneously. So to overcome this, we are introducing a special category of GPS that is called as the differential GPS. Of course, about the differential GPS, unclear, we will not in the unit 4. The entire unit 4 is about the differential GPS. But here, what is differential GPS? We'll learn. So it is a method of removing the errors that affect the GPS measurements. So what is differential GPS? It is a method of removing the errors that affect the GPS measurements. So these all errors, ionospheric error, tropospheric error, multipath error, clock error, we have seen 4 types of errors. And these errors, to minimize them or if possible to remove them, we employ the differential GPS. We apply the differential GPS. So for this purpose, a base station receiver is set up on a location where the coordinates are known. Of course, I already told in the very beginning of the first unit about this. So this is a base station which is with a known position, and this is a remote corrected position. This is a remote corrected position. That is the usage of the L1 and L2 carriers. So signal time reference location is compared to the time at the remote location. So this time difference will represent the error in the satellite's signal. So real-time corrections transmitted to the remote receiver, so that single frequency will result in 125 meters of error and dual frequency will result in the less than that. And post-processing will be taken by the differential GPS, which involves the corrections. That may be done at the same time or it may be done at a later stage. That will be taken care by the master control station, MCC. Of course, we already learned this in our unit 1, segments of the GPS. So these are some of the websites you can check out how the online post-processing is done after this. And one of the technique that is introduced for the error correction is the WAS. So WAS stands for Wide Area Augmentation System. I have given 2 names in the unit 1. One is called as the ground-based augmentation system, GBAS, and another one is the SBAS, space-based augmentation system. And here introducing one more augmentation system that is called as the wide area augmentation system. So augmentation is nothing but improving the quality. If there are any errors or there are any multipath propagation or if the calculation is not going well, then this augmentation systems will come into picture. That is wide area augmentation system, which will make the range measurement more accurate without any errors. So system of satellites. So this is a system of satellites that and ground stations that provide a GPS signal corrections. So there are 25 ground reference stations across the United States, introduced by the US DOT first time. And the master stations create the GPS correction message. So this corrected differential message is broadcast through the geostationary satellites, the receiver. So till now, in our GPS system, all the satellites are non-geostationary, if you remember. I told in the very beginning class. And here, for transmission of this corrected differential message, we are using the geostationary satellites to the receivers. This is a point to note. And it will give 5 times accuracy, that is 95% of the time. It requires, but for the WAS services to be provided, GPS receiver must be WAS enabled. If the GPS receiver is not WAS enabled, then it cannot provide the services. And in this, what are the different data that are used and what are the different coordinate systems that are used? That is to be known. Many data and coordinate systems in use are some of the selected reference ellipsoids. So this is a numerical data, need not to remember, but some of the data and coordinate systems are to be followed. And for that purpose, we will use the geodetic data. So they define the size and shape of the earth and use it as the basis for the coordinate system. Which coordinates, x coordinate, y coordinate, which coordinate you are using. For that purpose, we will use the geodetic data. So different varieties of models available are flat earth model, spherical model, and ellipsoidal model. We use the WGS 84, which defines the geoid heights for the entire earth. That is World Geodetic System, WGS 84. It's a just like logarithmic tables. It will be provided, and of course everything is automated. Will be provided in the software called MATLAB. So these are define the real-time photographs of the GPS receivers. These are from US. Our Indian GPS system is the Gagan. These images are not Gagan. These are of USA's. So these are some of the references. Any doubts, guys? Till now? Hello? So errors are selective availability error, geometric dilution of pressure error, clock error, anospheric delay error, and multipath error. Clock error, anospheric delay error, multipath error, dilution of geometric dilution of pressure error, and the first one is the selective availability. There are 5 types of errors, sources of errors. So for this, we are using the differential GPS in the name of WAS, Wide Area Augmentation System. Of course, you already know this, completed unit 1 and unit 2. Any doubts? Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask, otherwise I will end the meeting for today and we will meet in the tomorrow's class. So wish you all the best for the exam. Prepare well. Don't expect the same, sometimes the ABCD options may be different. So don't remember the ABCDs. Try to read the textbook and prepare well to answer in whatever the way that is asked. Is it fine? Okay. I'm ending my class for today. Thank you for attending the class.